What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Scares! That's right, we're back at it on our month-long journey through the nightmares with yet another film that I haven't seen or heard about before, and apparently I should have, because this one was basically a movie that flopped because it didn't get enough recognition during its theater run, but since then it received a cult following, and I have seen people call it the best vampire film that we've ever gotten. And given the fact that we've gotten a lot of those over the years, I'd say that that's pretty high praise. So we'll see if I agree. Near Dark. Near Dark is a 1987 Western horror film about vampires, directed by Kathryn Bigelow. It stars Adrian Pasdar as a cowboy that gets lured in by a gorgeous woman that turns out to be a part of a small vampiric group, and so that night, he's transformed into one of them against his will, and he's given a week to show his loyalty, but he doesn't have murder in his blood, no matter how much his body needs blood to survive. Meanwhile, his dad and sister are looking for him since the vampires kidnapped him. You know, I can kind of see why people consider this movie to be somewhat of a great vampire movie. It doesn't feel like the others so much, and it really does have its own flavor, while still staying true to classic vampire tropes. I think having it slightly be a Western at the same time really helps solidify its identity as something different. But without giving too much away, it also has an ending that I have never once seen with vampires before, and it's something that I greatly admire about the movie, and I think that it's insanely smart for doing. Not that it's logically sound or anything, but it's bold enough to make the claim that it is. That is what I respect most of all. The director, Kathryn Bigelow, was given the advice of her future husband, James Cameron, to use an already made set of cast members from Aliens. So you have Lance Henriksen, Jeanette Goldstein, and Bill Paxton, all of which starred in Aliens, and their roles in this film, which are all vampires. It's really interesting to watch because they all did a great job. Bill Paxton specifically went all out, which was awesome to watch. Also, even though it's clearly vampires, never once do they actually use that term. Now, at a certain point, Entertainment Weekly actually listed this film as the 21st scariest movie of all time. That is high praise, but I mean, I don't really think it's all that scary. I think that maybe in 1987, it probably would have gotten under people's skins, especially with Bill Paxton's performance. But in 2022, it mostly just feels like another film, and at times it can feel a little bit slow. That's because Near Dark, it does have a slow burner sensation where you have this transformation taking place in this man, and he has this inner demon fighting to kill and feed against his outer morality that refuses to do just that, making Adrian Pasdar's character of Caleb really likable and relatable, and perhaps most important of all, unpredictable. I didn't really know where this film was going, but because it focused so much on that family dynamic, I knew for better or worse, that inner intrinsic struggle that Caleb was going through was definitely going to come to a head at the climax, and it does, and what they do with that it's honestly awesome. Another interesting choice that this film takes was to have a child be on their team, going around town killing everybody. First of all, that's bold even to do today, but for 1987, I'm sure that took a big chunk of what people consider to be scary, or at least disturbing. Not only that, but in 1987, not many kid actors were very good at what they did. I hate to say that, but we have a long history of casting kids that couldn't act very well. And this kid who played Homer, he did fantastic, which was a nice change of pace. Now, overall, like I said, I can very much see where people consider this to be one of the best vampire movies out there. I'm not a huge vampire person though, so there's not a lot of movies that have specifically impressed me in that department. I know that the Netflix Dracula show, that was seriously good, like holy crap good, but that's a show and it doesn't really relate. So looking at my final score for a moment, Near Dark gets a B letter grade and a final score of 75%, comprised of course by the unbiased score of 74 and biased score of 76. So pretty much everything is in agreement here, and I think that the movie is solid. Again, I appreciate what the film was going for. I understand the cult classic nature of it. I was pretty engaged with it overall as well, but it's also nothing that screams masterpiece or perfection to me. It's just a fun time. As a side note, the last 3 movies that I've reviewed this month for Interpreting the Scares have gotten very, very similar ratings. The last 2 specifically got a 76% score, while this got 75. So honestly, this month's really interesting. I know I keep saying that, and we're already in double digits by now, but we still have a ways to go before we get to the last film covered this month. Guys, have you seen Near Dark? If so, I'd like to hear your thoughts about it in the comments section down below. Tell me if you consider it to actually be one of the best vampire films out there. Why or why not? And if not, what is your favorite vampire film? And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and what? Hit the bell to be notified when I come up with my next review. And until then, peace out!